welcome to the podcast, Emilia. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you.
Before we go into your experience, could you tell us a bit about what gaslighting is and what it means to you? Like how it can happen?
For sure. Gaslighting to me has always been a form of emotional manipulation that makes somebody doubt their own feelings and own experiences. So if somebody was to say to you, oh, that isn't how that event happened at all, even though you were there and you saw it happening, and then you start to think, ooh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't believe my own eyes. Maybe I shouldn't believe my own brain, my own feelings regarding that event. Then I do believe that's sort of the most basic definition of gaslighting.
Yeah. And what was your first, or what's the most prominent experience of it that you've encountered?
Well, it was some loser dude that I dated in high school, as it often is. I'm certain I would have been gaslit mildly before because, you know, people can sometimes do it without meaning to, which is something I'm really, really aware of, especially after this, that I don't want to make anybody feel the way that I did during this relationship. But so basically this was a boy who I had dated in year 11 for like a month, and it just ended the way that month-long relationships do, with us being like, yeah, not really feeling it. And then we got back together in year 12 after I went through a lot of nonsense at the start of the year that made me very, very sensitive. I was in a really vulnerable spot, which I'm pretty certain is what led to me wanting him, back in the first place.
Back in your life,
yeah. Because bad decision, as I would later find out.
Yeah. But it's a safety thing at that point. And you only know that as you get older, that isn't what you do. But as a child, that's what you do. If something bad happens, you run back to mum and dad. And similarly, if something bad happens in your life, you'll run back to what once made you feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's what happened.
And I was just a kid, and I'd been through so much stuff that I'd never been through before. And I was like, I just want familiarity at this point. And he was familiar to me, despite, even when we dated the first time, was a bit, not that nice. But anyway, so it started off very kind of love bomby. Like, he would stay up very late talking to me. He was very, very good when I was upset. He would talk to me about, anything I needed. He would be like, yeah, I'm your shoulder, lean on me as much as you need. And I loved that, obviously, because, I needed a lot of comfort at this point. So it's not like it started out badly. Yeah. But I feel, looking back on it, that this was on purpose. Right. On his behalf, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as in to make you feel guilty, like...
Yeah, to kind of give me something to cling on to.
Yeah. That his feelings were so sincere and so much.
Yeah.
That it was justified early on.
Yeah.
So what kind of behaviours started happening? Like, was it like on a small level, or was there a big thing? Or?
Yeah, it was very, very small at first. So, for example, he was one of those very, very edgy humour type people who I just don't want to be around anymore now that I'm older and more mature. But he would make a lot of not blatantly offensive jokes, but jokes that would make me say, oh, I feel like you shouldn't really say that. And his response to that would always be like, oh, come on, like, it's always just a joke. Like, you can't overreact to that kind of stuff. So I would think, oh, maybe I'm overreacting. So I wouldn't really call them out as much because I didn't like being told that I was overreacting. I mean, nobody likes being told that.
No,
not at all. And especially because one thing that he would always say to me, which looking back on it, I'm like, ew, that's so gross, was, oh, you're not like my ex. Like, she was crazy. Like, you're so chill. You're so easy to talk to. And
I've honestly, had that
too. Honestly, I have a conspiracy that the word chill has been warped to just like keep femmes basically not calling things out when something goes wrong, because it shouldn't mean that. It should mean what it originally meant, which is like, oh, you're easy to talk to, like, you're fun to hang out with, which I am.
Yeah.
But like...
Guys, I am, I swear.
No, I am.
Swear I am.
I promise. But he would use chill as a way to be like, you can't call me out on things. So it was like leverage, where I would hear something that I didn't really agree with and then think, oh, but I'm chill. Like, chill people don't call men out. Yeah, chill people don't react.
Kind of reminds you of that thing, and I don't know who posted it. It could even have been yourself, where it was like men or anybody, sorry, when they say something and you say, oh, that's like, I don't like that joke. And then that person says back to you, well, I guess I'll just never joke again. Like the extreme. And it's like, no, I'm not saying never joke again. I'm just saying like, I don't like that joke.
Yeah.
No, I can't speak now.
I don't understand why people read so deeply into it when you say something and then they're like, oh, I'm going to dig like 10 miles deep to figure out your secret meaning. And it's like, no, when I say I don't like the joke, I mean, I don't like the joke. I don't mean shut up forever.
And it doesn't mean like meet me back with defensiveness.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't exactly defensive so much as like really, really snarky, really condescending about it.
Right.
Because, I mean, he had a few best mates at that time. I don't know if they're friends anymore. I don't really care to find out. But they were all kind of in the same like, oh yeah, like we hang out with Emilia because they're like chill and they're like laid back, whatever. And then if I would not be quote unquote chill for a bit, they would all be like, oh, you're so dramatic about it. But it kind of kept getting worse very quickly. So he was pretty much racist to one of my closest friends at the time. And we were both like, whoa, like you can't say that stuff. Like, do not talk to us like that. Do not talk to her like that. That's like, I'm not going to allow you. Yeah. And he would basically just be like, oh, you guys are so offended. Ooh, like, oh, social justice warriors. And then that's to both of us because we'd both been raised to think that a cishet man's attention was the most important thing.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, we would talk about it when this guy wasn't around.
There.
Yeah, and we would be like, should we maybe like you know, chill out a little bit? Like, should we keep calling him out? Like, what if he doesn't want to be friends with us anymore or something? Which is ridiculous because like this is somebody who is flat out being racist, and the fact that we were doubting ourselves about it kind of proves that he was unfortunately really good at what he did, which was minimizing our problems.
Yeah.
It did, for me personally, it continued to escalate from there, where, for example, if we were going to hang out and I would be messaging him saying, hey, can you like let me know where to meet you or something, like, and he would open the message and then just not reply. And it would be half an hour before I had to meet him, and I would say, can you please tell me where I need to go? I don't know what I'm doing. And he would be like, can you just like calm the F down? And I was like, what? Like, I'm trying
asking you a reasonable question.
Yeah, like, I'm hanging out with you. I don't know why you're talking to me like this when like, even then, when I had very low self-confidence, I was thinking, no, I'm not. How am I in the wrong here? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But then he would be like, oh, you always throw such a big tantrum about me seeing you. And I was like, it's not about you not responding to my messages. I don't care if you don't want to respond to a message, but we're hanging out. You need to tell me where to go.
There was a question.
Yeah, like, it's important. Like, what am I meant to do? Just go to anywhere in Sydney and just hope you turn up? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to do that. But it turned a bit more from, oh, you're overreacting a lot. You know, you need to chill out, to being like, oh, you're acting crazy. And that was a pretty big thing for me, because going from, oh, you're so chill, to, oh, no, you're acting crazy, I was like, oh, crap, what am I doing wrong? Like, this
crazy
is so bad.
Such a strong word.
Isn't it?
Because I had an ex who, my mum called me crazy. But she means it in, you know, you're my daughter, you're mad, you're crazy. Oh, Sasha, you're being crazy. Yep. And it is that slight thing of like, yeah, you're overreacting.
Yeah.
And then when I broke up with this person, they came back to me and they were like, well, you're a psycho. Even your mum admits it. And I was like, that isn't the situation. It's not the same. That isn't what it was.
Like, yeah, she's my mum. She gets to say that stuff about me. She gets to say that.
You're taking this out of context.
Absolutely.
Like, you're trying to make me feel like I am that. And you know, I should excuse you and let you off scot-free.
Yeah.
Because I'm the problem. But I can be, I mean, I was lucky in that this was only a couple of years ago. I was an adult.
Yeah.
But if I was a child, or if I was in high school, I don't know if I would have had the tools in my pocket to remove myself and objectively be like, no, my mum can say that because she loves me. Like,
yeah, and also she doesn't mean it like, oh, you're actually like psycho. She's just being like, oh, you're my daughter, you're wild, look at you go, like that kind of stuff. When my mum did that, at least that's what she meant by it. Same. I mean, speaking of mums, my mum absolutely hated this guy's guts, and to this day, 5 years later, she's still like, how's going? You know, does he still suck?
Yeah,
does he still suck so much?
It's on the hit list, the mum's hit list.
I hope he is, honestly. But yeah, this sort of making me doubt my own feelings in this situation kept on escalating. So this was the kind of very aloof, apathetic boy who, and I really don't get along with apathetic people because I'm very emotionally charged. Like I'm
You're very pathetic. No.
I'm pathetic.
You're
Sasha.
very empathetic. You're very, yeah.
Look, I don't know about empathy. I do struggle with empathy, but
Okay.
I feel things really, really deeply,
Sure.
and I like love a lot of things. And I'm really open about what I feel. And this person was always just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about anything. Like he'd like take a photo of a sunset and be like, whatever. And I was sort of like, well, why'd you take a photo of it then, huh? If you don't care about it, why'd you take a photo? But he was also the kind of, so on that, like that led to him not being like verbally nice to me. Like maybe thinking back on it, maybe words of affirmation were not his love language or something, but he never said anything nice to me. So there was one conversation I had, I remember this night so vividly, where I popped up to him and I said, hey, just a quick question. I'm not calling you out or anything. I just want to know, why don't you compliment me? Because we've been together for about 6 months at this point, and I don't remember any time that you've actually been like, oh, like you look nice today, or oh, that joke was funny, or that kind of stuff. Like even tiny stuff like that. And he was like, oh, well, I just think compliments have to be earned. And I said, sorry, how in 6 months have I not earned one compliment? And I did say that. I was like, that seems a bit weird, don't you think? Like how, I don't think it's possible that I've done nothing to earn this. And he was just like, are you really about to start something about this right now? And I said, you know what, maybe, because this is actually upsetting to me to think that instead of
quite a calculated response, because it's not even like, oh, whoops, I didn't notice, I forgot, you know.
It's like, yeah, I know I haven't complimented you.
I know you haven't done enough.
And yeah, that was really uncomfortable. I felt very, very unsettled by that. So I asked, well, I'm not exactly sure what you expect me to do, because I feel like I've been doing a lot of nice things for you. Like I buy you nice stuff. Like when we go out to dinner, usually I'll pay for it. And you know, I do take care of my appearance and stuff, and it's nice to even just be like, oh, your hair looks good, because my hair always looks good.
Your hair looks
so
great.
The fact that he never complimented it was just beyond me.
Yeah.
But, so I said, oh, well, I don't know, I just feel like it's super easy to compliment me. And then to like kind of prove this, which was, you know, gutsy of me given the situation, I messaged one of my other friends and just said, hey, I'm feeling down, can you give me a compliment? And they immediately responded being like, oh, like, I love hanging out with you, you're so much fun, like all that.
That is such a good
isn't that
little
nice?
tidbit for people to take away. If you're ever feeling down, to message a friend and be like, I'm feeling down,
Message
give me a
Emilia's
compliment.
friend.
Yeah, message Emilia's friend, but just anybody. I think I'm going to do that.
It works, because people jump at the chance to make someone feel good, I've noticed, which is really, really cute, except for this guy. But so I screenshotted that and sent it to him and was like, see, it's like, it's really not that hard. This is just the kind of stuff I want. Like, you're fun to hang out with. You don't have to make a big song and dance about it. I just want you to start being a little bit nicer to me. And it was like, oh my God, you were so psycho. And that was the first time he called me psycho. I remember it so vividly because I was really, really upset about it. And I thought, I don't think that he should be calling me this, surely. Like, surely this isn't psycho of me to be doing this. To be like upset that someone I've dated for 6 months out of my life, especially when I'm a child, is like not nice to me at all verbally. So I was kind of like, hey, don't ever call me that again. And then he responded, I think like 45 minutes later, with a bunch of screenshots of a group chat between him and his best friends making fun of me and being like, Emilia's being psycho again. They were calling me a bitch, they were calling me crazy, they were like mimicking the conversation between my friend and I, and he'd sent me the screenshots of it and was like, see, everybody thinks you're crazy. And I was so upset. I was like bawling my eyes out.
Also, because you didn't go to your friend and say, hey, my boyfriend isn't making me feel good about myself, can you please give me a compliment?
No, not at all. Like, I didn't make it about him. I didn't make it a vindictive thing, and he turned it into literally bullying me. It turns out that group chat had been around for a long time before this as well. And I was like, that's nuts. And I was so upset. I was like crying really, really loudly.
Yeah.
And my mum came into my room and was like, oh my God, like what's happened?
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, it's fine. It's just, I'm talking with, and she was like, well, he's not a very good person if he's making you cry this much. And I was kind of like, whatever.
I've had like a similar experience where one time I was just like like I was like, whoa, like it was like so bad. And then my mum literally came in and she like pinned me up against the wall and she's like, what's going on? And I was like, on this. And then she was like, you're being ridiculous. You're completely in the right. And she was like, it was like she grabbed my face and looked at me.
That's so powerful.
I know. And I was like, actually, yeah, I am. But it will always stick with me as this, you need somebody to come in and tell you aren't crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, even though this was my mum and she is like a very huge pinnacle of being right all the time.
Yeah.
She's a Capricorn, so that sort of comes with the sign.
With the star sign,
yeah,
sure.
So even though she was like, this person is obviously not a good person if he is making you cry like this.
Yes.
And some part of me was thinking maybe she's right, but then
it's still not definite.
Yeah, the bigger part of my brain, because I'm a very anxious person, so the anxious part of my brain would just go back to the screenshots and think all these people think you're nuts, like you need to get your shit together, Emilia, basically, which was like,
my lips like quivering with rage right now.
Is it actually?
No, it's just like it's so sad that you know you can be so affected and that people would do this in a group situation. I just don't understand where people get that capacity to be nasty, I guess.
I don't get it. Like, my heart actually breaks for the younger version of me yourself, because that was such a damaging moment to think, oh my God, how many more people have got group chats where they're all talking about me?
Or about anybody, like any young person who is somewhat not even doing anything differently to everybody else. It's just that they all need to bond over something and they don't have anything to talk about except bullying somebody.
I can't imagine, I can't even picture a thought process that would lead me to getting a few of my good mates.
Starting a group chat.
Yeah, and being like, yo, hey, this is the Sasha hate chat that we've made.
I'm sure there is one.
It's just, I don't know, it's such an awful thing to do, but it's so purposeful to make a group chat and dedicated to being horrible about your partner. Like, literally, I was dating this person, so I don't understand why people date people that they hate.
Yeah,
like that makes no sense, like looking back on it. But at the time, again, all I was thinking was, oh man, I'm the problem here, like I need to get my act together. But the problem was I didn't know how to get my act together because I was just reacting to things as they happened,
which is hard, especially if you struggle with anxiety.
Oh yeah,
that it's a very like stimuli heavy response. Like, so did you at that time know that you were anxious personality, or is this something you've grown to recognize later? Like, what's that process been like for you, and how do you rationalize? Because gaslighting is the thing. If you're rational, you can see if you can rationalize it, you can see that this isn't the true situation. This is what somebody is trying to force me to believe. Yeah. But that doesn't always work when you're anxious.
No, it's really, really hard because I have gotten so much better at dealing with anxiety. I've been to therapy for quite a while. I don't go at the moment. I really want to go back because I loved it. But I'm like neurodivergent as hell. So like I have a lot of trouble dealing with a lot of situations, and lots of the anxiety that came from this was me thinking, like I've done something wrong, because I spend a lot of energy like in every social situation like masking and making sure that I'm coming across as like a quote unquote normal, I guess. I don't want to say normal because like what does that even mean, you know? But just as I want to come across as if I'm good socially. So then somebody being like, here's all these people who think that you've stuffed up, was sort of like, oh man. But I was good at rationalizing it, I think, from my therapist being like, here's a few ways to like calm down. Like, you should trust your gut as well. My therapist would always say your gut hasn't really been wrong when you've been this upset about something before. And unfortunately, like, they were right, because when I feel super anxious about something, I think, oh no, I don't want to believe that, it's just anxiety. But then there's a point where you just know that you're right, if that makes sense.
No, 100% it makes sense in that cool. Like it's a fight or flight thing, and I think sometimes when you are an anxious person and lots of things make you anxious, it's easy to be like, well, it's just another thing that makes me nervous. But sometimes it is right, and I think it takes a lot of sitting with yourself and kind of like, for me it's writing. I also blow bubbles when I'm anxious and I need to breathe correctly.
That's so sweet. I love that.
I have lots of bubble containers around my house. There's a tip for people if they want one. But yeah, what do you use to kind of calm yourself so that you can rationalize these things?
If it's a situation that I'm able to leave for a bit, I will leave it for a bit, because I cannot stand when people reply to me in the heat of the moment and then they say something that they regret so soon afterwards, because the amount of times I've gotten messages from people who've been like, oh, you know, when I said that earlier, that was heat of the moment, I'm really sorry I said that. I think, okay, well then just take a step back. Like, I know that it's not too easy, but if you learn to just sort of be like, okay, I can put my phone down, I just need to wander around the house listening to music for a little bit, maybe, and then I'll come back to it when my head's a bit clearer. Because, I mean, I've done that so many times too. I've reacted really, really, really heavily to something, and then half an hour later, I'm fully embarrassed by it because I was thinking, oh, I was in such a high anxiety mindset that I've said something that I don't believe when I'm in like my neutral headspace.
Yeah.
So it's as if the person who sent that message wasn't Emilia, and Emilia's back now being like, what the hell happened here? Like, this is a disaster that I need to fix.
Yeah, exactly. So... Emilia, what did you do?
Just be like, sorry, my cousin took my phone and sent that. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah. And do you have any advice? Because gaslighting is something I think people continue to experience.
Yeah.
And I think it can be called out on when it is something, when the person is willing to listen and change their behaviors.
Yep.
But do you have any advice for people who are dealing with that now and how to come about those conversations, how to bring those conversations about?
As in with the person who is gaslighting them?
Yeah.
Oh, it is really, really hard, because especially if it's a purposeful thing, if somebody is accidentally gaslighting you and you say, hey, the way that you've talked to me about this has made me doubt my own actions and doubt my own feelings, I think that you might be sort of gaslighting me, and they haven't meant to do it. Usually I found people are really receptive to that.
Yeah.
Like they will say, oh, that's awful. You're right. And then hopefully they will listen to your point of view as opposed to just being really, really gung-ho about it and just, you know, soldiering on, making sure that their voice is the only one that's heard. But if they're doing it on purpose, that's really, really hard. I was never able to get through to this person, for example. Like literally... We split up because he told one of my friends that he just met on the night that he hated me and he thought I was really annoying. This was one of my friends, not one of his friends. So, yep, your lips doing it again. And then this person messaged me and said, hey, your partner is horrible. I really don't like him. This is what he said about you. And that's, for some reason, that was the turning point. So I blocked him on everything. And then he messaged me on text, said, what the hell is your deal? I replied to him saying, this is what my problem is with you. This is what you've made me feel throughout this entire year that we've been together. You need to do something about this. I recommend going to therapy so that you don't treat someone like this in the future. And his response, I remember very well, was 4 messages. It said, yo, stop, you're done. Just get over it.
And that's when you know that you're done with them, because it's like you can't fix that person.
Yeah, the last thing this person ever said to me was, again, trying to make me out that I was trying to make me out to be crazy. So he clearly was not going to let up anytime soon. And I do think about it sometimes, thinking, oh, I wonder if he's worked on himself in any capacity at all. If somebody else that he's dated has been like, you're actually making me feel like I'm crazy, even though I know I'm not, and all my friends tell me I'm not. Because all my friends told me that I was in the right, like, frequently, and it's not even about being in the right at that point. It was about not being crazy. Like, I didn't want to come across as that, and I didn't want to feel like I was remembering everything wrong or that I was getting everything wrong, because that really, really hurt, to be honest. Yeah. So having my friends support me was good, but again, didn't believe them. I was kind of too far in.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to call someone out on it. I genuinely struggle so much, and I think that to this day, if I met him and I was like, hey, maybe you need to kind of reconsider your actions, maybe go to therapy, I don't think that I would be able to get through to him.
It sounds like what you're saying is that, you know, having the conversation, while hard, you should judge your next move based on their response.
Yeah.
If their response is some kind of acceptance, then it's like, okay, we can salvage a friendship, we can salvage whatever this is, because this can happen to any relationship.
Yeah, of course.
And then if they're being defensive or they're being like emotionally a bit violent, that's when you're like, no deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that goes for any type of situation. If somebody just doesn't listen to you when you're telling them how you feel based on their actions, they can't tell you how you feel. But some people will try, like, they will go to the ends of the earth to make you feel like your emotions are incorrect in some way. And how can they be incorrect? You feel the way that you feel based on what, like, stimulus you get. And if the stimulus happens to be somebody being awful to you, then that's on them, that's not on you. So the amount of times that I've just cut people off after this relationship, and, you know, after growing through therapy and through just sitting with myself and realizing what I need, has been really, really good, because now I don't have people who try and make me doubt myself so much.
Yeah.
Because I have anxiety. I do that enough. I don't need somebody else telling me to do it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and for sharing your experience.
Okay.